I'm with Andrew Pike of Pikes Wines from the Clare Valley, Australia. A privilege to have you here, Andrew. It's interesting that, I think when I first met you earlier today, I suggested that you were the winemaker, but of course you're not the winemaker, you're the viticulturist. Which would you say is more important, viticulture or vinification?
Well, it's the age-old question, I guess. In Australia, I think there's been a long history of the winemaker taking kudos over anything that's happened out in the vineyard. I think importantly that's starting to change in that there is more of a recognition today than there was when I trained, for example, 30 years ago, that the viticulture is actually equally as important.
Well, they always say it starts in the vineyard, don't they?
Absolutely. I couldn't sit here and say that has come to pass in any real context in Australia. I suspect from my very limited experience in Europe that it is more accepted, that premise, but in Australia it's probably still emerging, the importance of the viticulture in the overall wine story. It is a team effort, and that's the important thing.
And is it your brother who...
That's right.
That's right, yeah.
My brother Neil is responsible for all the winemaking and marketing for the business.
And how does that work then? I mean, is he your older brother? Or
no, he's my younger brother.
And did he particularly have a sort of a bent for that side of the business?
Yes.
Was it natural the way you went?
I don't know that it was natural. I trained first, and I trained in agriculture and viticulture, and my first roles within the wine industry were in viticulture. Neil, being 4 years my junior, saw that's the direction I was heading, I suspect, and decided to move into production.
To a wine that I think that we're probably going to start stocking. I mean, John, our manager, was very keen on this wine, and he's one of the guys who sells this, of course. This is a Chardonnay from the Adelaide Hills. And this is a sort of collaboration between your family and your wife's family.
Correct.
Perhaps you could tell me a bit more about
Certainly,
that.
the Joyce, half of the Pike and Joyce partnership, are a family that have been long established in growing apples predominantly in the Adelaide Hills. A little place called Lenswood.
Do I get a hint of green apples?
Well, you could work. Wouldn't be the first time it's been said. So the Joyce family, through really coincidence more than anything, approached us about 10 or 12 years ago. At the same time that Neil and myself were looking for an opportunity to broaden our horizons beyond Clare. Because there's some things that Clare does.
So Adelaide
really
Hills is I think it's a couple of hours.
Yes, it is. Yeah, to the south of us, and a lot higher in elevation. It's probably twice the height above sea level, at about 680 odd metres above sea level.
So ideal for cool climate.
Absolutely.
Wine.
So cut a long story short, we bought some land together with the Joyce family, struck an agreement whereby they do all the work on the ground. We do all the work behind the scenes in terms of the production and marketing.
Yeah.
So all the fruit is hand picked.
They presumably have had to learn quite a lot then, if they're fruit farmers, and you've had to tell them what to do in the vineyard.
That's true.
You've instructed them.
That's true, Ted. But surprisingly, a lot of the skills from the orchard side of the business have been immediately transferable. And the really important thing about it is they've been there so long they understand their area and what it takes to grow quality fruit. So it has been not seamless, but a really easy transition from growing apples.
And when did you first start this project with the Joyce family?
1998.
Okay, so it's been going...
and our first vintage was 2001 or 2002. And as you indicated, we're growing only those cool climate varieties: Pinot Noir, Sauvignon Blanc, Chardonnay, and Pinot Grigio. It's very targeted, very hands-on.
This is a lovely wine, this Chardonnay. It's a very delicate Chardonnay, a nice bit of well-balanced oaking. And a very much obviously cool climate. I mean, I think Australia, as we were saying earlier, has got a bad reputation at the moment with Chardonnay because of all the cheap, over-oaked, rather sweet Chardonnay. Well, this is a completely different animal.
And it's been a deliberate strategy for us to come back from that perceived style of over-oaking. And so we're using very, very targeted oak selection, about 25% new oak in any given year, and the rest in second, third and fourth year-old barrels.